Dr. Huvard, it's such a pleasure to be talking to you. You authored a chapter titled How to Review and Incorporate Primary Care Records into Eye Care, published by the American Diabetes Association in a compendium titled A Practical Guide to Diabetes-Related Eye Care. Clearly, this is something you've thought about a lot. What is the single most important thing that you'd like our colleagues to understand from the chapter?
Well, first, thanks so much for having me. I'm going to answer you with a two-parter. I'm going to say, the first thing is that there really is a lot more than just hemoglobin A1C and understanding the overall health status of your patient. And the second thing is that electronic health records are really a powerful tool at fostering collaboration and could even, potentially help improve our ability to provide care for people who have diabetes.
Two critically important areas. Can you expand a little bit on the importance of A1C?
Sure. I think we know that hyperglycemia is probably the most important risk factor for diabetes-related retinal disease, and we know that the duration of diabetes and the degree of hyperglycemia are really the leading risk factors. And once diabetic retinal disease has developed, though, we think that hyperglycemia is probably the best predictor of progression. For example, decreasing hemoglobin A1C by 1% reduces the risk of diabetes related retinal disease by 35% and its risk of progression by 20%. Um,
Wow. That's pretty amazing. I think most of us are not aware of that degree of link between that. Can you talk a bit more about the value of the electronic health record in care of our patients?
Absolutely. For all of the frustrations that electronic health records have, there really are a lot of benefits for them. We know that adopting electronic health records has evidence that it might improve our ability to provide care for people with diabetes. Electronic health records schedule or assist in scheduling screening appointments and acquiring information. They allow easier transfer of information from one provider to another provider. They can show us reminders. They can show us, when we need to, in my case, perform dilated eye exams, when routine labs need to be drawn, and they can help make data-driven decisions.
Those are really good points. Clearly very important. When we think about care of our patients from a primary care point of view, when is it particularly important for our patients to see eye professionals like yourself?
Aside from the regular screening guidelines, I think one important thing is for patients who are pregnant or considering to become pregnant. We know that pregnancy is a significant risk factor for progression of diabetes related retinal disease, and it really can accelerate, especially in the second trimester. And so, both the American Academy of Ophthalmology and the American Diabetes Association have published recommendations on eye exams both during pregnancy and after pregnancy.
So that's clearly important, an important reminder to us. And the collaboration between people like you and I are critically important. In the first and second episodes of the podcast series and of this video series, Chapters in the Compendium, we discuss how primary care clinicians and endocrinologists can better understand the diabetes related eye exam, as well as the reports that we receive from people like you. What are your recommendations for eye care professionals with regard to understanding the medical issues of our shared patients?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there are a few different things to take away. One is that aside from hemoglobin A1C, there are important things that you should be aware of. Hypertension, hyperlipidemia, and renal disease all have impact on diabetes related retinal disease and our ability to provide care. For example, if a patient with renal disease and renal insufficiency is on dialysis, they might end up being a poor candidate for injections with intravitreal agents, which we commonly use to treat diabetes-related retinal disease. So really understanding what is going on beyond just the hemoglobin A1C can be really important in providing individualized care that's best for that particular person.
Such important points. Michael, thanks for joining us and sharing this information with all our colleagues.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
This video is part of a project on diabetes related eye care that's supported by an unrestricted educational grant to the American Diabetes Association from VSP Vision Care and Regeneron. Please tune in for part 4 of this videos on disparities in diabetes related retinal disease and approaches to improving screening rates. Also, for more detailed information, you can click on the URL below to download the associated compendium, which is available at diabetesjournals.org/compendia. For the American Diabetes Association, I'm Dr. Neil Skolnick, and it was a pleasure having you join us.
Thank you so much.